Hello and welcome to the V2 Football Podcast. I'm your host this week, Shane Lees, and joining us we've got Anthony Kendrick back.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey. We've got Nick Davey.
Yeah, good evening.
We've got Richard Hero Hudson.
Good evening.
And we've got Chris Lappin.
Good evening.
Right, okay, let's talk about the Champions League. We've had the fifth round of the group stage fixtures. It's looking fairly good for all the English clubs. It looks like most of them will be able to go through. So let's start off with the obvious one. Man Utd v PSV. This is the only group where it looks like it will be a genuine challenge to get through, apart from maybe Arsenal's.
I don't think we'll go.
Yeah, it was 0-0 against PSV at home, and then they've got to go away to Wolfsburg, a very tough trip, and they've got to go and win that, because PSV will probably beat CSK, who've got nothing to play for. So
I don't know, actually.
Right.
I could actually see United losing at Wolfsburg, but then CSK getting something at PSV. PSV
Really?
Aren't that good.
Hey?
They're not that good, but they beat Man United at home. They drew them away. They have put themselves in good momentum and a good position to go through.
Nah, I think United are fucked.
If you look at the PSV game, PSV have won both their games at home, and I think CSK haven't got anything away from home. So I'd expect PSV to get the win there. I do think United can go to Wolfsburg and win. They're not as good as they were last season. They've lost De Bruyne as the obvious thing. They've got Schürrle, Varenia, Bastolster's quality. But I can see United winning at Wolfsburg. I'm not fearful we'll go out.
I don't know. I think Wolfsburg, they're a very good defensive side, and with Man United seeming just pure lack of attacking intent, I think I struggle to see where they're going to get goals in that game.
Oh, Naldo and Dante are great players, but they are capable of winning.
It's not happening.
I think like Wolfsburg have got one of the best left backs in the world.
Ricardo
Who's
Rodriguez.
He's good attacking, but he's so poor defensively.
Well, that was a wrestler.
I think that like the PSV victories at home are a bit overstated. If you look back at actually what happened in the game v United, they certainly shouldn't have won that game.
Do you think CSK are going to have enough to go and win away from home there? CSK haven't done a whole lot in this tournament so far, and PSV have looked very good. They've got good momentum.
I don't think they've looked good though. I think they've just had the look of the green.
Well,
I thought they were very good last night.
Sometimes that can be enough.
It can be enough to get you through, but at some point your luck runs out.
Okay, let's put it to a quick vote. Who thinks they're going to go through and who thinks they're going to go out?
Out.
I think they'll get through. I'll be the optimist.
Alright, well, we got at least one. Okay, but the result, 0-0, it was a pretty uninspiring display, and there's been a lot of very angry United fans. Are they being a bit full of it, a bit, United fans? Do you think maybe they don't really have a right to complain? You know, Man United aren't doing that badly in the league. But it's all going okay. Is it a bit too much anger for 2
No,
reasons?
we have a right to complain.
Okay, go on. Expand on that, please.
Right.
So boring.
You bring in players. Why do you buy a player like last year in Di Maria, this year in Memphis Depay, who's clearly the one that's been mouthing off to a journalist? You buy a player that's creatively, that wants freedom to do what he wants, and then you give them a very set role and tell them they've got to do this thing. It's like buying a Ferrari and then only taking it round town.
There's plenty of people who do that.
Put on me in my new car. Why did you loan out Wilson?
God knows
Yeah,
what's
he's been
happening
loaned
to him.
out tonight, hasn't he? He's
Yeah.
been loaned out to Brighton.
Hooray!
Tell you what, I do have to agree with you there, Richard, in which I do think people are saying, it's a transitional year for United. Bollocks, is it? I mean, how much money have they spent in the last 2 seasons? If you haven't managed to build together a team that can go and attack in that time with the players they've signed, then you have got a terrible manager. That could be the only answer to that. I don't think Louis van Gaal is a terrible manager. I just think if people are seriously going, I don't have the attacking players, sorry, but who the hell can they go and sign to go and get the attacking players? If they've already got this lot and they can't do it.
Last night they were poor, but other games we've looked solid. We don't look like conceding. We don't look like scoring many, but we never look like conceding. And I think we can get our way to the title with good defensive form. It's defences that win you titles. I think last night
would you be happy though to win the title having probably scored the least amount of goals to win the title.
Definitely.
Here's the difference, though.
Can I ask you something? Do you think Chelsea fans are unhappy with the manner in which they won the title?
Well, no, because they don't care, Chelsea fans.
Exactly, neither do I.
Yeah, they don't have a rigid philosophy like United have. Also, I would say the difference is Chelsea, they look like they were going to get at least 2 goals every single game, despite the fact being absolutely solid. Man United, look, they cannot get 1 goal in a game. They struggle for that. That's the difference.
I don't want to support a team that's known as being solid.
Bolton.
That's what stool samples are.
Yeah, that's what Bolton and West Ham are. Get Sam Allardyce in, then you got a solid team, haven't you?
Have you seen that picture of Sam Allardyce in his black tracksuit and he's looking up and they go, when you're deciding what to order at the chippy?
Yeah. Okay, we've drifted a bit off topic. We'll move on from Man United. Let's talk about Arsenal. They got a 3-0 win at home against Dinamo Zagreb, which means
Cheerio.
Which means now that all they have to do is go and win 2-0 away at Olympiacos. Do we think they can go and do that?
No.
Well, before the last game, I said that Arsenal could still go through.
I don't think they will. I think that Olympiacos proved how good they were at the Emirates, and I think actually playing in Olympiacos, they proved how good defensively they were as well. I thought Cambiasso ran the show against them at the Emirates. I think Olympiacos will win. Arsenal probably can do it.
For Olympiacos, they don't have to do anything. Like, they don't have any domestic commitments. All they can do is think about this game for several weeks.
They just literally just park the bus and just...
That can also be a bad thing, though, that you're not sort of up for the game.
Game fit, because you haven't played for so long.
Also, wouldn't we say that the Arsenal game where they lost 3-2 at home was more an example of a poor Arsenal display rather than an absolutely brilliant Olympiacos display? I mean, I remember that game. Olympiacos had about 3 shots on goal in the entire match. It was an example of good counter-attacking, but it was also an example of massive luck going for you in the game.
It wasn't a massive goalkeeper blunder as well.
Yeah, it was an incredible amount of luck.
It
was an incredible amount of luck, and I think Arsenal, it was a bit overstated how bad they were. It all sort of went against them. I don't know, I think the momentum is going with Arsenal. I would be surprised if they didn't go through, because Olympiacos are a good team, but with the momentum they have and Olympiacos not being amazing, let me put it this way, if this was any other match, not like a deciding kind of match, we wouldn't bet against an Arsenal getting 2-0 victory, would we?
No. If Arsenal turn up, they should win.
Yeah, they play like they do, like we've seen them this season against Everton and against United. I think they're going to... I think they'll rip them apart.
And against Bayern Munich.
Oh, well, that was I think that was fluke.
The thing is Arsenal, with all their injuries at the moment, I do question whether they can get through.
Well, you never know who's going to be on the treatment table the next week, do you?
Yeah,
exactly.
We should probably bring up at this point, Daniel Sturridge is injured again. The man is made out of breadsticks and glass, stuck together with a Pritt stick.
So basically he's the next Kieran Dyer. He's
just broken again. It's probably going to be a long-term injury. It's a foot injury, and whenever they're very vague about that, it usually means something's gone very badly wrong with a small muscle injury. So there's that. Okay, but we'll move on to Man City. Now, they lost away to Juventus 1-0. They lost twice to them in the group stage then.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, they're already through, so obviously Man City, it's not too big concern. There's a good chance they can still go off to top the group. But do we think that maybe the game, but Juventus and Man City, highlights the difference between the top teams between the Premier League and the other leagues?
I don't really watch the game, so I can't comment. I decided to watch United again. I decided to watch The Apprentice instead.
Brilliant.
City have had their injuries, haven't they, in the last couple of weeks, and sort of haven't had a consistent side for a while. It didn't look a particularly the side that they would normally put out going forward. Were like Yaya in the David Silva role. I think City will be there or thereabouts. If they get a good,
it's how
City getting semis.
It's how different the City defence looks, though, with Kompany not in it, because they had so many clean sheets at the start of the season. They've not kept one since Kompany's been injured. He's so important to their defence.
Yeah, that Liverpool game, it kind of highlighted how badly they need Kompany sometimes. But
they didn't play Otamendi for some reason either at the weekend. They played Demichelis and Mangala.
I have to say, the 1-0 result for me, it was unlucky. If that game would have been 2-0 Juventus, I would have said, okay, that's not a ridiculous result. But also, if it had been 2-0 City from the way the match went, I'd have said that wasn't ridiculous either. That was an anything kind of game. Anything could have happened. And I think over the 2 results against Juventus, they were quite unlucky, City. I would go and say that. But okay, yeah, we'll move on from City then, and we'll talk about the last one. Chelsea had a very decisive 4-0 win away in Israel. Is this maybe an example of Chelsea doing quite well in the Champions League but not doing quite well in the Premier League?
Well, they weren't doing well.
It's Israel, isn't it?
Yes, but the Israeli teams are notorious for being hard away games. They're very well known for that. 4-0 in the Champions League. Most teams do not win 4-0 home or away in the Champions League. So to go and do that away from home, that's impressive. I don't care who you play. There's no easy games in this league.
Yeah, you